meeny, miny, go. GM, welcome to this week's episode of the Fantasy Top Deck Building Series. I am your host, the Carpenter. Alongside me, as always, Big Brain Frog HK, and another Big Brain analyst, the Crab. Gentlemen, how are you today?
GM, doing well here. How are you guys doing?
Good morning. Doing well. It's a late night last night. I'm watching a bit of the NFL. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. Happy to discuss.
Say who were you rooting for last night in the NFL playoffs?
To be honest, like I obviously I was only watching it because it's kind of tied into football.fun and the NFL section of it. And I know a few of the guys in the chats had a few of those NFL players, right? Like I think Josh Allen was like the highest priced player, and Buffalo I think it was a close game, and then obviously the Denver won, right? So yeah, the chat was kind of popping off at the time, but yeah, no, like I said, I think over the next year, I kind of want to know more about NFL. I think it's a good it's entertaining to watch, but ultimately some of the rules just go out my way through my head, and I'm like, oh, what is happening? But
they usually have games that come to London once per year or something as well. You could always come down this way. We'll catch a game together.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely down for that.
There's actually another night of the games tonight as well too. I don't know if you're staying up again or.
I think I'd rarely stay up on the Sundays just because it's Monday again, right? Like I try to stay on the weekdays. I try to keep to a certain routine, but maybe I will. Who knows?
Yeah.
When the Super Bowl comes around, Super Bowl Sunday, you might have to if that's the big one.
Yeah,
it is. That's the one where I don't bet a whole lot on football, in the playoffs and stuff. But I definitely do on Super Bowl Sunday. One, there's a lot of parlays that can be played well together. And then it's there's usually some bonuses and what the heck are they called? Boosts. Some boosts to get the edge and stuff. Which I think is really good. And crazy enough, I was thinking I should probably start doing that more on chain than I do. I just do FanDuel, right?
You should farm Polymarket or something like that if you are going to do it, just because that's probably going to lead to an airdrop at some point. So I think that's why a lot of people do it nowadays. Just because with Polymarket, at least there's that thing. If you don't win, at least there's that volume that you're doing, and then possibly a airdrop at some point down the line.
Yeah, that's smart. Is what the hell was I gonna say? Damn, I went squirrel. I'm still not quite awake. Still haven't had caffeine.
Well, also yesterday you were at your daughter's gymnastics competition, right? How did she end up doing, by the way?
She did 3 first, and then she had a scratch. So she missed her start line. She was pissed, and even though she got her 3 first. And most people would be pumped, right? And she's she just only is concentrated on that one fault. And even the judges were like, if it wasn't for you missing the mark, right? They're like, you would have scored and got a first. And she's like, I don't care, I missed my mark.
That might even make it worse, to be honest.
Exactly.
From a competitor standpoint. But I remember you said last year she had the 3 firsts and 1 second, and that didn't cut it either.
Nope. Yeah. So she came home and she rolled her mat out and started practicing. I was like, baby, it's late. Let's go to bed. And she's like, no, I've got to practice.
I love that attitude, though. Good for her. And congrats on the other firsts for her.
Yeah.
Yes. She gets her dad's competitiveness. Even crazier than mine was when I was young. So it's good. Big things in the future for her, I think. But yeah, thanks for asking, Chiza. It was a lot of fun. I still have the shirt on. I put a sticker over it so people couldn't exactly pinpoint where my daughter goes to gymnastics school. But yeah, so it's The title of the episode today is let me get over here so I can actually read the exact thing. So deck building series, will new aggro mean new top heroes? I feel like that sums up a lot of what we'll be talking about today. Yeah, they're and shout out to you two. As a lot of you noticed, I wasn't on the timeline a lot for some personal reasons this week, but I wasn't aware of the new timeline or new algo stuff until my co-host told me in the green room before, and so I was like, hey, this is a perfect title. But you guys kind of want to touch into that a little bit, just ever maybe go back and forth between the two of you and tag on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add my screen. Do I need to zoom in a bit more?
If you could.
There you go. That's good.
There you go.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, let's do that. I'm just gonna do this full screen so I can see it how you guys are seeing it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I think there's definitely been an algo shift in the last, probably the last last month, probably I would say, right? Where it's I think obviously with first of all, Nikita Bear announced a sort of API policy and just to confirm, it's not going to affect fantasy.
No, we have a workaround, which is nice.
Yeah, and
bullish for fantasy.
Yeah, I think we were all waiting with bated breath on that one for a day or so.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and then I actually found out because I just saw the Kaito price, right? Like,
did it tank?
Yeah, it just tanked like literally a massive red candle. It's almost like someone knew this was coming, so it felt a bit. And I saw some posts about like insider trading and stuff. Like people in the Kaito team knew about this and sold their tokens and stuff like that. But I didn't get much into it. But yeah, Kaito obviously.
Watch, it was Bandit. No, I'm just kidding. Bandit wouldn't do that.
They're one of the few projects, or at least out of those that I saw, that also mentioned some sort of pivot or something as well. Not that will stop that bleed, but at least trying to do something about it, where I would imagine most of them do not have a strong pivot. Yeah,
no, 100%. I think Jeet was another one that's quite popular lately. Is Jeet. So on abstract.
They're on abstract.
Yeah. So
well, also you think of these secondary projects like that were mostly, I mean, relatively like copycats of what they saw like Kaito might have done, and then when you're copying off of someone's playbook and maybe trying to iterate, like you don't necessarily have that larger vision that the original did and what it potentially could be if you're just trying to use somebody else's playbook.
No, 100%. And then I think what I was going to say is like I think the question was that will certain heroes now not do well, right? Like I actually think the opposite. I think the Kaito. I think the reason Kaito is there is because these big accounts would get yaps and they would post about a project just to get like a airdrop at some point, right? Like, but one thing I did notice is those posts never really did good, right? Like for example, if I'm a shit poster and all of a sudden I have to do some sponsored content, I'm not going to expect the same engagement on that post because like sometimes who cares about the next layer one project, right? So I don't think it affects scores, but the heroes that came to mind were obviously Bandit, right? He's a Kaito team member. Jampsy does a lot of info 5 posts related to that, and who else was it? There was another one. Whale obviously was one that I thought of straight away. So if I go Whale here, I click his 24-hour. Has there been a drop off? I think he was slightly dropping off regardless because of his tournament ranks weren't like he wasn't. He's like top 20, top 30 hero. But yeah, I don't think it's going to affect as much, right? I still think if you hit a banger, you hit a banger, right? Like you still need to have it needs to be a good post. Like it can't. Like I don't think Info 5 posts even do well like anymore. Do you get what I mean? So I don't think it really matters as much to the fantasy tournament. So yeah, no, I thought I'd just touch on that. And then on the side, I think I mentioned a few weeks now, like the algo's been changing where, sometimes, a hero will post and then it'll take off a bit later than normal, right? Like the algo picks it up and then all of a sudden, they hit they go from 0 to 100k views very quickly, right? It happened to Lawrence a few weeks ago where I needed him to do well, so I was keeping an eye on one of his posts. Like it was at 10K, and 2 hours later it was at 30K, and then like 10 hours later it was at like 250K, and I was like, what just happened? Like it's a weird how it works. But yeah, I know Nikita Bear has been just working on like what's the best optimal sort of algo for X, right? So yeah, but yeah, I think what I'll quickly do is quickly go through like the different options, right? And I'll be interested to see what you guys think as well. So obviously we all start at 1 star, 1 stars, and it's never really that good a conversation usually.
Q's a good one this week, I think, though.
Or QW, yeah, I think he's Alliance Dow. I think he's probably like I feel him and Taiki are probably the ones to go for this week. Taiki.
Oh, Taiki's in there, isn't he?
Yeah, just a bit. Just to touch on Taiki, I've paid for his Discord subscription. Like I'm.
How much is it?
It's quite a bit, right? Like,
do you get a pink dildo with it? Because I know he has those in there a lot in his videos.
He yeah, I think with Taiki the interesting thing is he's not like your general call, right? Like he's more. He's not gonna find a meme coin player for you every week, right? He's more like they give you some interesting content to look at on X, because sometimes it's very hard to find good content sometimes nowadays, right? Especially depending on who you're following. And then also he directs you to early opportunities on, like, whether it's a new meta or something like that, right? Like that's more not, that has a bit more of a solid ground reasoning to why you should, particularly look at it, right? For example, if it's polymarket, perp dexes, stuff like that. But yeah, that's just a side note. But I think the thing with Taiki was he was shorting ETH for quite a long time, and then obviously ETH pumped and he got liquidated, right? And then,
let's go. Well, not that he got liquidated.
Yeah, that was that was 2 weeks ago. That you called that very well. I remember.
Yeah. I mentioned on the stream, like he might post about being liquidated because he's been shorting ETH. Like there's a chance if ETH pumps, he's gonna be like pull that face and just post, right, like get 6-figure views, and he did.
So does he have any open positions right now? Is there?
I think currently he's gone back into shorting just because ETH pumped, right? But I think he's not. He did mention once that he's not really that bullish on CT generally overall, right? Like as in like the main source of information and stuff, right? So when he says stuff like that, I don't think you can expect like 10 posts from him during a tournament. But but I think given that he's capable of hitting that banger, right? I think at 1 star you definitely got to take him, right? One thing that one I was going to mention was Ilo, and the reason for that was I don't know if you read my article, but if you haven't, in his last post, he kind of posted about just, it kind of felt like, he was just going to stay away from crypto for a bit, right? Like, let me see what he said. He said, December 31st, crypto is dead, awful, cursed technology. 1st of January, maybe the coins aren't so bad. And then it kind of felt like he's just, the image felt like he's just like, taking a break or something. But anyways, I think the last post he did was January 6th, right? Like that's 12 days ago. So I would like, there's a bit of a doubt there whether he'll post or not. But yeah, I guess it comes with risk. But outside of that, are you guys thinking of any of the other options, or is it just
well, you've kind of already touched on exactly what I was thinking of. Alo, same question mark. QW, I had the same question mark as well. I think he hadn't, until like very recently, he hadn't posted since, let's see, January 9th. And then it must have just been within the last 24 hours, just because he finally had something on his 24-hour chart. So he's actually back on my radar, because I was holding off on playing him in any meaningful deck, but for that reason. But we'll definitely consider at this point. Taiki, anything that I need 1 star for or need a low star for, I'm definitely going to be using Taiki.
Yeah, my plan was, so one I like that you guys haven't talked about is, well, you did talk about, and it, now it's changed my plan a little bit, was Alo. But him staying away from crypto might actually help him with the algo. But because Alo as a 1 star, he was really good as like a when you'd see him, he'd hover around that 4-star, 3-star, and then 2 on some weeks. But like I would run him as like a consistent there for a while, but he has kind of went down a bit. So now since I was wondering where I was gonna go, I mean I have Web3 Quant. I have I don't have any Taikis. Again, if I was more active last week, I would have seen that his score was gonna be lower, and I would try to pick him up before he pumped a bit.
Yeah.
And so I'll definitely be going. I do have some vectorized,
Yeah.
but
The reason I look
I'm
at
curious to see how
vectorized is
the algo is gonna affect these guys.
I think with vectorized, it's a bit like I think he has the potential to do it because his niche is very like coding and all
And
that
he has a
stuff, right?
smaller account following too, compared to
Yeah,
others, right?
yeah. That also, yeah, because I think if he gets like a 20K view post, like he'll do well, right? But lately he's just been posting about food, and it's just a bit more random, right? Like
Food
so
season, baby. Food
And not since January 7th as well. So
exactly,
there's
yes. Let's just say like these 1-stars aren't going to fill you
What's
with
up, buddy?
confidence. And I think it's a good way reason to pivot to 2-stars, right? Like I just feel like there's a lot more to discuss. Probably a lot more options. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna have to refresh.
I also like using the arcade King of the Hill mode just to help me like
definitely,
filter
yeah, I like that as
filter
well.
the
Yeah,
star levels.
100%. I like that as well.
Oh yeah.
I look at
Your
that during the.
screen is his screen
Yeah.
going funky for anyone else or just mine?
Oh no, I'm refreshing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just takes. It'll be a few seconds.
Hey, real quick, since I forgot I did this, let me go here. Let me make sure this is the right one. That's not. This is share. Why is it not sharing? Oh, I gotta remove you first. And why do I have HK twice? Oh, there I am. Oh no, I would not.
Did you just start an arena?
Yeah. Let me make this smaller. How did I do that? Let me make this better. Do. Can you guys see that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, let's look at the high stars. But so here, K and V or Alo. I think K and V, right?
Okay, and V definitely from a perspective. I think Alo still hasn't posted in so long, so I wouldn't count on him.
On him, I like Marusha, and I like Simon. There. I like. Is Mosey still on? Or no, is Mosey ever on private? It's Rectober that's on private.
Yeah.
No. I love. He's my boy, but not as an 8-star. Ansem maybe, but I feel like ICO maybe. What do you guys feel like? I feel like this isn't a real good draw. I feel like I have some alpha on HK. Is that post we talked about? HK, you're gonna make that during. Can you wait until tournament to make that post? Is he here? Oh wait, why is he off? At the stage. HK, did you take yourself off stage?
All right. No. I was just checking. I've been speaking about it. I could have.
It might have been that refresh. You said you
the refresh took you off stage.
I've done that before too.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, I was just asking you, do you have a 2-star? And I was like, he's not strolling up for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I was like, why is he not listening to me? But anyways,
now we can hear you, brother.
So you're saying about my post? No, I think I'll post today. Like I said.
Damn it! If you did it Monday, I could unpick you.
I think the volume of my posts, I think it generally will trend down anyways. But like I said, I'll be active on the TL. I'll be posting. There might be a lot more sports content like football because I'm, Arsenal playing Champions League and stuff like that, right? During the week. But yeah, I think I'm a reliable option in that second row probably. So you have 7 stars left.
And WRLD is also a good 3-star option sometimes too. Like I do want to say that like his 24-hour points was up to like 700 or something yesterday when I was picking decks.
And the reason because of that is he hit he made like 6 figures on a meme coin, and everyone's everyone like all of a sudden realized he's back basically, right?
Gotcha.
In the trenches. So yeah, maybe he's one that's sleeper.
Yeah, I grabbed him this week. Yeah.
Also, sometimes I think that base Dom actually has like a higher ceiling than Marusha as well, but I feel like Marusha is trending back a little bit.
I like Marusha over base Dom. just
Right, we
because of
got
the
1
stats.
minute exactly left, so I'm kind of
Just
down to
ISO.
these 3. ICO or one of these two is what I'm feeling. I feel like with the new algorithm, it's gonna help ICO because he gets a lot of. Because we've kind of noticed that refresh or retweets get a lot of. I think I'm gonna go ICO here.
I also think he's more reliable as well. Like,
Yeah.
then
Mosey could outperform, but I just think that from like a base level standpoint, you're safer going ICO.
And here's the other ones I had. I put in quite a few this week. And then Crab, my boy, I like seeing you in the top 3.
Have to hit that 10%. We're actually almost full this week too, just from a standpoint.
I'm gonna buy another
week,
one real quick.
When we were looking like around, so about 24 hours ago, about 24 hours ago, we were half full, and now we're, what,
About
30,
there,
30 away, not even, about 30 away from being full. All that is one more person trying to get that 10%.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna throw another one in quick.
Shall I?
Yeah, you can take your screen back. Take your screen back.
Yeah, 1 second. Oh, wait, 1 second. I'm just buying 5 entries as well.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably do.
Rule number one. Rule number one. And rule number 1 is buying in bulk for getting a 6% rake back. Doing the 50
I need
at a time.
Doing the 1 at a time.
Worst ROI right there.
Yep.
And when I actually do my spreadsheets and stuff, the difference is $5 for a buy-in versus $4.72 for a buy-in.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's way better.
So it's just like a
nice.
So I'm going QW.
That's good. Yeah.
I don't like any of the 2s. Not really. I mean, maybe Kane, but not really. Not so fast. I thought this used to be not so fast, but now.
No, I think it's always been fast. I think it's always been fast. But
always been
it's always been fast.
I don't read so good. I kind of like Bread, but I don't now that getting alpha.
I think that's too high for Bread on his arc.
Yeah.
John
I wish he was a 3-star like he was in 4.
I like Tyler D or John Wang.
Yeah, same. And I would. What if you do those 2? How much do you have left?
I have enough for another 4. Maybe I kind of want to go. Maybe let's take him off and go a 5-star, Sammy. Or no, I really like to get him in. And then so let me see something here. Let's take John off.
I feel like this one,
I would
do one. Yeah,
I would do KNV because I think the thing we have to realize with this is just that not every deck is going to hit, and that's okay. But like, you want to give yourself that upside for if something does happen, so you can get one of those top 3 or 4 places. And I think KNV at that 1-star is the only chance that you actually have of doing that. If you do it, yeah. And
especially like having these 2, I like. But I wonder if I don't go like this and then go like this.
Clemente.
Then
you have a 4. I like that better. And then because I think John Wang probably has the most upside of them. Tyler D is probably the most consistent. But
we won't go risky. We're going to win.
What you have right there is what I personally would go for.
Lock it in.
Yeah, solid.
That definitely has upside.
Do an arena since we're on it.
Yeah.
Since Carp just decided to randomly go freaking arenas like
yeah. I was gonna say I was referring to King of the Hill, but we can do some arenas.
I just went completely squirrel, bro. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think it does this weird thing where when I change the stars to like 2, like it won't show the PFP anymore. Like it just be grayed out sometimes. So I hate talking about. I don't know what card's what, right? No. I was going on 2 stars just because Papitel hit a banger yesterday, right? So I do think at 2-star, like I'm inclined to play him, right? Like I feel like if I look at but he hasn't been posting last few weeks.
He just started again a little bit more yesterday.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, because it went back to 600. So I feel like there's potential with Selkis, Papitel. I like obviously KNV as well. I always consider him, and Hugo, right? Hugo's a bit random, but you have to remember he came like top 10, I think, a few weeks ago, like 4th, right? Like 2 weeks ago he came 4th. So there's always potential there. I do think those are my like 4 options I'd consider. Outside of those, there's not really any other options that stand out, as in ones that like Lil Moon Lambo sometimes just hits off, like with a post, but nothing to indicate that right now, right?
I will say that's pretty good. 4 options in the 2-star range is pretty good
Yeah,
relative I feel like normally when we go through the star levels, we hit 2 and we're like, "Absolutely
it's
nothing." 1
grim.
star or like
Yeah.
3 star. So, like,
Yeah.
that's a positive twist this week.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that because then you don't directly have to choose a one and you can go straight twos and 2-3 combination. I've always like struggled when I think it's weird because sometimes there's really good 1 stars, but that means the 2 stars is just guys that score but don't score well. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and I think one thing with the 3 stars is there's also like a decent range of options just because you've got Beanie who, regardless of what he's done lately, I always consider him as a decent option, right? Like someone that can score 300-400 points at least.
And
Um,
when he gets going as well, I feel like he's consistent. Like it's almost one of those things like it feels like something gets under his skin and then he'll just like
yeah,
bear post about it for a week straight.
100%. Yeah,
And so like I feel like when you start to see that trending and he's normally above a 3-star anyway. I think this is the lowest we've seen him in a
yeah,
bit.
no, hundred
Like
percent. Yeah,
I
he's
don't know that
usually four.
yeah,
Usually
and
four.
I don't
Yeah,
know that I ever expect him to be like 700, 800 points or anything like that, but from a relativity standpoint, seems like a good option.
definitely. And then obviously Ultra is always a good shout. Cyrus, I'd probably will consider Cyrus just because of him being a 3 star. Uh, Then obviously, I think Bread Guy. Obviously, I told you about him posting that he's been busy and stuff like that with the work and holiday, right? So, I think with him is if Mega ETH do have something exciting that they announce, or even just general from a tech standpoint, I think you can still do one post and do well, right? Like he's still a good option. I do lean towards someone like Wei Wu just because her she definitely scores like around 300-400 anyways, but her upside is like top 20, right? Like
Yeah.
you're almost like getting like a safe a banker player there where you're going to get 400 points, but the 1 in 5 chance that she might come top 30,
Yeah.
top 20. So I
I
do
think
think Weiwu's going to be like, if you're looking at 3 star, definitely one of the best.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect way to say it as well. The one thing I'll say about Bread is Carpenter had a dream that
Yeah, I
Bread
did.
came in first, and so I might just have to put him in a solid
Yeah,
deck or two
dude,
Bullish.
just to see if that was a premonition instead of
yep, and to touch
truly
on that,
he's like didn't Bread just come in
yeah,
first or did I dream that?
yep,
So yeah, I might act on
because
that.
HK was like, "He's not posting as much or something." I was like, "Nuh-uh, dude," because like, and so when I logged in this morning, it was like the guys got to see me like fresh out of bed, right? Like no caffeine, still sleep in my eye, like just threw a hat on, still wearing my clothes from last night. And so I was like, "Yeah, didn't I? Bread's in first, like whatever." And they're like, "No, I don't think so." I'm like, "Was that a dream or did that really happen?" Like, yeah. So
I think
maybe I'm hoping it's a premonition as well, because like I piled him in my core decks.
I
Yeah,
do think
hope
um, he's definitely capable. Okay, maybe not first, but who knows, right? He has come first, I think second before, and that's his highest.
This is the week, baby. No, if he goes first
Uh,
this week, we can spin it next week's episode. We'll have this
okay,
will be
he,
his
he
like
needs he needs to
guru
roll back what he
section.
did on the February 3rd last year. He needs to roll it back.
solid
Yep.
year.
Got
It's
him
funny
second.
after you said that, I actually went over to prediction markets and looked in like the top 5 section just to see
Yep.
like how many options there were and if Bread was there. Unfortunately, other at like 1.3 wasn't the best odds,
Wasn't
but I
feeling great.
definitely would have
Yeah.
thrown 10 to 50 frags on him just for the hell of it.
Let's go, baby.
I think one that you definitely consider is Lucanets, right? Like arguably the biggest NFT founder at the moment, right? So if with him is he's kind of got this pattern going where 1 week he's not terrible, like okay, it's pretty bad, right? Like in the hundreds, and then 1 week he's
And
in the
not that
top in
like
the
in the hundreds.
and then and then the other week he's in the top 100. So I think 90 gives you around about 450, 500, which isn't the worst, right? And the way I think of it is he's due for a top 50 performance, right? Like I always think like some of these big accounts, like they just chew a good performance and it's going to happen at some point. And there's no better way than when he's a 3 star, right? Like just to put him in a few decks, and I think I'll probably play him in quite a few decks actually. Just
Another
thinking
mention
out.
in that 3-star range as well is well, I don't know what's going on lately, but Engwin
Oh yeah,
Pepe, Penguin, PFP. I feel like normally he's in the 4 or 5 range, and I think last week he was a little bit lower star option as well. So I don't
yeah,
know what's gone on the last couple weeks, but he does have some decent potential.
yeah.
Again, not full on upside, but just under
I
star
think
or underrated
I
from
think
star values.
yeah. And given his floor price, there's not really much downside in terms of picking him up and trying him for a week, right? Like, um, that's a good shout because in my head I knew Nguyen has a good stats, but I've never considered him as a pick. I don't know why, but I think just
Well,
mainly like, do you know when you look at like historically which decks have won? I don't think Nguyen's
right,
ever
right.
come in a deck, right? Like, it's that sort of thing. But like historically, he's been between like largely between the 100 and 150 mark. So I think there is something there. Definitely is. That's a good shout.
And I think part of
Yeah.
that is recently he's been 4 or 5 stars, so, realistically, he's never, like, on the table, or at least for any, like, serious and to
Oh
be
yeah.
honest,
True. Good
still in
point.
my top contenders, like, I'm not picking him, I'd be choosing Weiwu just like, for the exact reason that you outlined, but, he will be in some that, maybe they're farming or maybe just trying to, I don't know, farming or low-end potential.
Yeah. Just while we move to 4 stars, one thing to note is John Wang's just. I guess part of his role in being head of crypto in Kalshi is it demands a lot of work, right? I think ISOB's
Oh yeah.
posted like we're quite very busy right now at Kalshi, right? So it does make sense that he's not been posting as much. Or otherwise, I think I'd always consider him as a good option, a 4 star. It does worry that there's not that many posts from him, right? But yeah, I thought I'd mention that you've got other options like Yano. I prefer Yano when he's 3 or below. When he creeps into the 4, I start considering other options. Like, one thing to know about stats is he's hosting the trade combination competition, Ace Trader, I think it's called,
Oh really?
where there's a couple of heroes actually taking part in like a chance to win $1 million, right? And I think Min's part of that as well. I think Bandit is, and they're part of the group that's competing. Which starts next week actually. So it's interesting because I know he's hosting it. Maybe he doesn't directly get the engagement of it, but it's a good sign he's been involved in being a lot more involved lately, I think. Just to put that out there. The funny thing is, next stream was DCF, and I think it was a few weeks ago where DCF was like the king of the hill. Like, I think he's 29th this week. I can't remember what star he was in. Like, I'm never going to consider him as the king of the hill at 4 star, right? But I think he ended up like outperforming a lot of heroes. And he's definitely been doing a lot better than like he was at some point where he was kind of trailing near the bottom. He's definitely one I'd consider, but obviously the ones that you mentioned, obviously in the arenas, right? And Marusha, Rectober's off private. I'm just gonna double check that because he kind of changes
Varies
every
day to day.
day to day, right? Like,
Yeah, he's off.
he's off private, so that's good. So, and when he posts frequently, I think he's a good option. So I definitely think he's amongst the top 5, right? For the 4 stars. But you also have to look
Jez.
at trend. Yeah, like Jez is probably more near the top, right, of your ones to consider, just because I know the last two, like, you kind of think the last 2 tournaments, Jez hasn't done well, but you take like a flow of 90, and knowing that there's potential for, what was that the other week, 6th, right?
There's
Like
a
there's
decent amount of ticks up in top 25 there to really
yeah,
take that seriously.
no, 100%. And obviously Ignas, I mentioned in the article as well. I like Serb, and I think one of the Serb possibly could be the best option. Well, I think one of the reasons is whenever there's like something scammy happening on the timeline, if that's a word.
Scammy? It is now.
Yeah.
Ethos is always tagged, right? Because Ethos is all about reputation and which accounts should
I've
be
been
highly,
really
highly
bad about doing
reputable.
my ethos stuff.
Likewise, like I'm so.
Speaking which, recently I vouched for both of you guys in a big way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Go.
Appreciate
It's
it.
the best. I'll have to check it out and hit you back, bro.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually.
was
I
just
think I'm
thinking
probably gonna
when you
look.
said that, like, I gotta vouch for the boys. I think I vouched for HK.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I think I need
Yeah.
to vouch for both of you.
me and
Best
MLO,
co-host in the world.
talk quite a bit about. We talk about quite a bit because we play FDF, right? And we talk about strategy and stuff. I might need to pick his brain on what to do in Ethos again, because I feel like I'm
If you
getting a
guys
bit.
if you guys need to put your points anywhere, I do have a validator, and you can definitely because was it for staking, right? You can either burn a certain amount of your or like half your points for an NFT or
Wait, what's that on?
so basically you have a decision to make within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Maybe it's like
On
2 weeks
Ethos?
now. For Ethos, yeah. It's and if you don't
I need to
take
catch
an
up.
action, you're gonna get slashed as well. Or at least some of your EX not slashed necessarily on reputation, but some of your points like EXP
Shoot,
built up.
I need to get
So
caught up on that.
your option is gonna be either do you like you stake your points with somebody and then I think that I'm not sure exactly how that works, but hopefully you get a boost and you choose one of the validators to stake with, which by the way, guys, I'm here if you need me.
I'll be using your validator.
And the other option is
Yeah.
if you like was it you burn half your points, you can NFT at the end of the season. And I think that that's kind of an open-ended thing. You don't know exactly what it's going to do, but there
So
is.
I
and
could
it's called
burn
the-
half for an NFT and then use the other half for the validator, right?
No, you have to choose one or
Damn
the
it.
other. Which option? I chose to stake is what I did.
I'm probably gonna stake mine too, just because I don't want to burn half my points, and two, I want to hook the boy up or use the support the boy.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I think I need to spend more time looking into it because I've kind of been distracted because I was farming FTF
too.
and then the TGE was coming,
Well,
so I
not
was like, I
for
need to
FTF, but
maximize
yeah.
that. So then I was
If
kind
you-
of like not reading into Discords and other stuff, but I think definitely I need to catch up on
If
that.
you want to, since I'm in like the validators sub chat, I can do some research and try to learn a little bit more and shoot you guys some info.
Just one thing on SERP while we're talking about 4 stars is I think under my article, who was it? Yeah, Dank mentioned that SERP will be the best 4 star, I think. And then I said definitely can happen. He goes, ETH Vibathon starts on Monday, so I think he cooks. Interesting, right? Like there's that.
Yeah, I started
that-
vibe coding actually because of Meta Alchemist and
All right, yeah.
SERP.
He does it in
SERP
public too, which is great. Like I feel
love
like
it.
He was let's call it how it is. Like I think before even was a trend, SERP was doing this like back in September.
Oh,
right?
he was doing it forever ago. Like,
He
dude,
was
he's been
doing
doing it
it
for like a
space.
year. I swear. Like, it's been so long. Like, not a year, but you know what I mean. It's been like 9 months.
Just a quick mention on Ice Knife. So the reason why his score is high is well, relatively high, right? Because I think he actually got scammed by one of his in real
Oh, I
life
thought you were gonna
friends.
say liquidated.
No,
Wait,
he
by
got
his
scammed by
friends?
a 7 years in IRL friend scammed him. with
No,
a lot of his.
shit.
Yeah, and I think he posted, and it kind of obviously went viral, right? Because I think he's probably one of the big, like calls for like meme coins and stuff like that. Let me just see where the post was. Yeah, I saw it though. I was just thinking. Yeah, he said just got rugged for the majority of my liquid funds in real life friend of 7 years.
Oh my god.
It didn't seem like you wouldn't troll something like that, anyways.
No.
Like, why would you do that? But then I think based on the comments, you can see people like obviously sorry for that. You're obviously losing that much money probably is insane, right? But yeah.
It's worse when it's a friend that you've known for almost a decade.
Right. Yeah. Right. Usually, I don't really look into the highest options because we already know they consist of good options, right? But I'll just quickly go through 5 and 6s very quick. Like Nick stands out, obviously. I like Jeff Park as a 6. Obviously, his 24-hour score is pretty solid lately, and I think as a 6-star, I like his potential. Thread Guy. I think one thing I like about Thread Guy is he's always talking about the trending topics, and when you do that, usually there's a chance that you do very good. You hit a very good score, right? Like it's good to see Vo back last week. Like obviously she was sick, I think the week before, so good to see her back. Asflin's one of my best options for 6-star. Crab. I feel like Asflin at 6 is probably like a safest bet to like someone that can hit 800 points. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you nailed all my options. I think Thread Guy, like you mentioned, I think not only is he been I think he's been a better option lately. I think he's been trending in the right direction, creating more too. And so in some of my top decks, I included him, AZ Flynn as well. So
100%.
The other one, base posting, I think we don't normally see him at 6 stars.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think last week was. I think the thing with base posting is very based eco driven. I do think when when we get some sort of base token, like that's an account that's gonna rip off, right? Like everyone's gonna be
Absolutely.
engaging and it's gonna do like a lot of views. I do think the one to mention was Main, not for good reason because I think lately he isn't posting as much, and when he is posting, it's mainly like topics that really aren't related to crypto, or it's more like sports betting and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's not that same potential lately.
And
Doesn't mean he can't
He
go off,
sold his
but
account. I'm just kidding.
what do you think, Crab, on Main and in
what I
Clark?
was going to say about that and why he didn't strike me as necessarily a top option is, well, he obviously is a fantastic option, but to your point, I just think that I was going to say, sorry, I lost my train of thought. He was also a 6-star last week, and
Yeah, he
he
did
also
as
didn't
well.
come through. So it's not one of those. Sometimes you think about those like counter trends where it's like, oh, they were away for a week, and then they're just, you flag them because they're a top option. It's kind of similar how we're not talking about ICO Beast right now. Well,
Yeah,
he's obviously a top consistent option, but if he's taking his foot off the gas, or maybe it's something with Algo, it's not like a 1 week mistake, I guess is how I think about it.
100%.
So
Yeah,
it's still early in that trend, but it's
yeah.
one of
Let's
those
see how
things
it
that
goes.
one
I'd be
week is,
cautious. Yeah, I'd be
yeah.
cautious with Main. I do like Tyler Durden if he posts a lot more. I think lately he's not been posting as much, right? And then also I'd mention Clem, right? Because it's Clem, right? Like he can just
Clem,
go viral
Clem, Clem,
when he
Clem,
wants, right?
Clem.
So I think it's always worth considering Clem when he's a 5, 6 star, even 7 star, to be honest. I think in the eights it gets tough because you have Greg, Cochran, all these guys that just hit like a certain score every week. But I think as a 6 star, I'm liking, Ashflin, Thread Guy, um, Clem. I think going and a shout out to CBB as well. Not because of what he posts about, but just generally, he's someone that can go off as well sometimes, just because he's kind of counter like his posts are always flooding someone or or making so much
Oh
money on
yeah.
something, right? Like,
What do you think of
yeah,
Newsy though? Like Newsy's kind of just been like there, like for the last
yeah,
few
he's not.
months.
He's not really. He's kind. I call it just ever present, but you never know when he's gonna
Yeah,
go off, right? Like it's
exactly.
more. It's more him just being present in his like
Little
on the
area.
timeline, like posting. But then it just depends. Like if you're early to a meta, like one of these heroes can be early to a meta, and they can just go off. But sometimes sometimes because the market is just so sideways at the moment, like BTC is pumping, so that does help. So you might see someone like Honey doing well randomly, right? Like, or even other traders, like. But what I would say is when the market trades sideways, it's like sometimes people don't know what to post about, and sometimes accounts that just shit post all day, like they do well, right? Because they can just post whenever they want, what they want.
Exactly. Like RWLK, man, he's been crushing it lately.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because
Like
even the market
week
going
after week.
up or down, he's gonna hit. He can just get ready with that 1 or 2 bangers lined up for the week, and
Yep.
he's gonna cook, and he posts it right at the start of the tournament.
Oh yeah, because
So like
he's
it just gives you that
not
confidence.
only
Okay,
aware, but he's a player. He's not fantasy aware. He's a fantasy player.
exactly
Yeah.
right. Like I definitely think he's one of the best options, and also intern. Like, but last 2 tournaments he's averaging 850. Like this, I thought that out there as well because I've always faded him after the Monad stuff launched. I was like, oh, he's
Yep.
probably not going to be as good, but yeah.
I had the same hesitation with RWLK as well, because right, he was part of the Monad push as well, right? But then he's very much proven otherwise, and I actually even have more faith in his consistency over over
Inton.
yes, yeah, intern.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Inton, I'd always still consider him as like a bit risky still, but
Intern, yeah. So like,
yeah.
what's up with him? Like, is he kind of like hits but doesn't hit?
No,
Like
last
that's
two
random.
tournaments he kind of played spoiler. Like I didn't consider him, and then he just did 6 and 19. Like he's done really well in the last 2 tournaments, which has kind of messed me up because some people have him in a good deck, right? But I think I think the thing with Inton is he's similar to RWLK, as in they're very good at like posting something that will just go viral. They hit most of the time.
They
So
understand how like
the
content. Like they're very
CT,
good at
I think
content.
I think it's called. I think because they've been in the space for quite like 4 to 5 years, they know CT culture very well. So they know like if something's happening, they know what's the meme that will hit straight away, right? Like, I think, yeah. But I think if one of you want to share your screen and let's go through some decks. I want to see what Crab's doing,
Sure.
what you're doing,
Yeah, I
Carve, as
want to
well.
see
Yeah.
Crab.
I'd be happy
I
to do
bet
decks.
on you, Crab, to win gold, by the way. So put all your
Did
good
you?
cards in
Alright.
gold.
Is it gold?
Well, maybe I can emphasize. Well, normally was it platinum, or did they do a new one this week?
They did gold this week.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, maybe we
So
can
I
work on that
I got
together.
a 30x on you, bro. I threw them on.
I actually think it's a
Put
good
some
time to
ranks
talk
in.
about some of my decks because a lot of these conversations about some of these players were like, I've put together some decks. So, like, rather than just talk about the hypotheticals, we can see who I actually picked and had the most faith in from some of those trade offs. And two, maybe help me hone in and change some of these. So, looking at bronze, first off, like the one thing, AZ Flynn is also the 6-star I picked along with Nick from an upside
Flynn is
standpoint.
so consistent since he's been here. So good.
Yeah, and I think I want to say the last month he's probably been either 7 or 8, more usually 7, but
7, yeah, 100%. It was 8 1 week.
So the one consistency point that I didn't any so I'm this week I should also say I'm taking more risks across the board. I think this season I've been playing it more safe and I've been really consistent around like 0.2 ETH in terms of rewards, but at the same time, like I haven't really been competing for those top spots. And I think I was talking to HK before the show started, just a little bit that, I haven't had the same confidence in terms of some of my options during this season, but at the same time, I know I've been playing it safe. So I'm kind of trying to turn that risk meter back on and
Yeah.
try to compete a little bit more. So what you'll see across the board, I'm actually using Fapital and Taiki in almost like every league and going hard. So I have the potential to flop horrendously this week, but I also think that they're the best low star options. So even coming to look at silver, I'm utilizing those 8 and 7 stars pretty strongly along with the 1 and 2. I love Kate at the 5-star. I think recently,
Shout,
yeah. I think recently, just in the last week or so, she didn't have his top, but like the prior few weeks, she had been up in that 7, 8-star and just crushing it. So I'm definitely putting faith in her to bring that back. Mosey has some of that potential as well, which I actually found that interesting here because I know we were talking about some of the 5-star even in the arenas, but when I was going through my decisions, I went ahead and chose Mosey for
he's
upside.
5-star, right? Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
So I had to run down my 18-month-old. He was getting ornery.
And so, like, even what was it? Not last week, but the prior week, even ranking top 6.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No, those are two very competitive decks. I'm hoping CRG comes back this week. Like I know he's been around the 700 to 800 mark again, and he was hitting the 900s quite consistently. So even I've got his rare, so I'm hoping that he does well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's not like he's fallen off a cliff or anything, but in terms of the 7-star options, like there was a stretch there where I was picking him in my just to be in the arcade mode King of the Hill as well, which I mean, still competitive, just not the top out of that range.
Yeah.
What am I looking for? All right, so platinum or gold? What do you guys want to go after?
Gold. I bet on you for gold.
Gold, yeah.
All right, why don't I delete some of these decks then real quick? I'm going to screenshot just so I don't lose them. Yeah. And then
No, I wouldn't delete them just in case you get a tie, but anyways, you've done it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm more worried about ties from like a common perspective. I feel like recreating this would be pretty just if
buddy, that's how you waves up there.
All right, I'll leave this one for the moment and then recreate this. So when I was creating my decks, we were talking about Thread Guy, and he was kind of one of my top options for the 6-star. But I have a lot of options in 6-star this week. So like,
you have some good options in 6-star.
CBB, ICOB.
I love that bow. Man, I'm so jealous of your
down
bow.
here. Of who?
Of the alternate art bow.
the testnet bow.
Yeah, testnet bow.
Oh, gotcha. I misheard. I heard bow. I don't know why.
You're like, I'm so.
Who's that? Yeah. Also, I think I always skip over bow with this testnet just because it blends into the background more, where everything else is kind of like that bright, epic, purple pink. Yeah, and Lawrence as well, who I do, especially lately. Wait. But yeah, so if we're looking at 6-star options, I mean, to be fair, I have other options as well. Oh, so I'm not zoomed out. So I'll start here. If I was to add Adam Cochran, I could have a Taiki in here as well. That could be another 1-star, or I mean, Hugo or KNV would definitely be a little.
You've got Fapital so far, and then you go. I feel like Cochrane gives you like 2300, 2400, right? It's a good base, and then Thread Guy another 1700, 1800. Like you can expect 1600. So then, and then Fapital, if he's active, he's definitely one. So then I'm thinking, if you go Taiki, then you can put 8-star, right?
Yep, and also
okay.
Another option is I do have a rare Thread Guy as well. So I could hypothetically, if we think that there's a better performing 8-star here, which there might be,
yeah.
I could do 8-star. And so Star Platinum or Mert are my two options from that.
I'd go Mert because I think if you're playing, if this is the one where you want to really push towards a win, right? I'd say Mert because you kind of know he's going to come top 20, top 15 lately, right? Definitely. So I think Mert, Cochrane, Fapital, Taiki, and then you got 6. I would go Thread Guy out of those, and then.
Oh, I'm muted. I was thinking Star Platinum on that one. My bad. Yeah, I muted because of my boy. I was thinking Star Platinum, but that's just because
I like Mert
in the tournament
better. But
I didn't see these drop offs. Out of the last 4, he's came down a lot. So never mind. You got to go Mert because he has a higher chance of finishing top 5.
Mert is averaging 881 points in the last 5 tournaments. Star Platinum 787. So
I mean, still good, but not as good as Mert.
Like Star might do better, but I feel like when you're banking in your top deck, you want your epics to be the ones that drive your score high, right? Like if Star has a bad tournament, then your rares won't really capture the difference as much as an epic. So I think with Mert and Cochrane, you potentially have two heroes that could get you close to like a 3800 or like a 3700, right? And then I think winning in gold, you kind of need to aim for that 7500 mark at least. So then potentially, if you get 4000, 3800 from there, that your rares can, between the 3, your rares can potentially bridge that gap to like 750, 7500.
It's possible. It's like, and the reality is I have a better chance of winning gold than platinum as well, just given because I do have some decent legendaries, but another thing that we were talking about, I think just before the show started, was the fact that to win legendary, if it was my legendary Cochrane paired with, the epic Fapital or something, then maybe that would give me a shot. But that's a few 100-point difference in terms of just making that change, which is a tough gap considering some of the I don't know, the powerful ports that people have competing in that same level. So it's probably better off for me if I can compete going here in gold.
I'm glad they did the who's gonna win gold this time, because one, with the legendaries of platinum, I feel like I just don't know who has, like, it's just more cards to like freak out on and look at, because like I don't know why I said freak out on, but like try to think about, because when I was talking to what the heck's his name, Pavel, sorry, I've brain farted, sorry Pavel, when I've had him on the Predict Daily, which will be back this week, had to take a break for IRL stuff last week, but I was talking to him and he said he likes to look at the ports, see what they would do, and with it being gold this week, only having to worry about epics and stuff like that makes it a little easier for my brain. And like I am just like only person I've bet on so far, and probably will bet on is Crabs, because got to bet on the boy.
Yeah.
If it's gold, I'll put a few frag on myself as well.
Let's go. You got the alpha here first, fam.
Um, well, the good news is if you are betting on it, which I don't advocate, but if you are betting on it, you can actually like see the decks that I'm entering. So that's one benefit at least.
Let's
Uh,
go.
so I thought I'd put one platinum tick together real quick,
Go for it.
and
Yeah,
so I like the idea of Fapo here. I think the upside is actually higher than
100%. Yeah,
Simon. Definitely riskier, but the
agree
upside is higher. And at 2 stars, it actually leaves like I have a decent amount of powerful epics that it allows me to utilize even more.
for sure.
So,
Yeah.
so let's see. Rarities, I'll go to epic here.
Ooh, a lot of options. Thread guy.
Oh yeah,
Screams out
right,
there.
because we used the rare before
Yeah.
on him. The other thing, so even scrolling down, I still have Unipieces, Clem here, Lawrence, ICO Beast. Like these are CBB even. It's a tough.
Even Axe at 5, like I know he's not the best lately, like as in consistent wise, but he still gets the good engagement. It just hasn't been as consistent lately.
Yeah, the potential and the reality is I think that even just like these 2 off weeks would really dramatically change our perception on that. I still have high confidence in his
Yeah, maybe a gold deck.
ability.
He could do in a
Yeah,
gold deck, but yeah.
all right. So who do you think are the ones that we can't miss? Like
Clem. I said Clem, right?
yeah, that's what I was
And
thinking too.
then you've got 13 stars. I feel like a 7-6 combination here or 8-5. If you
Yeah,
put
and also
star,
so
let me
I have
see
a
if we.
decent amount of good rares
All
that from
right,
like
yeah,
a
okay.
higher end perspective, but less actually. Why don't we take a look at that real quick? The rarities there and see if that changes. Some of the others I actually have. I haven't deleted my um, silver decks yet, so I do have some other options there that I could repurpose. But I still have like Whale, Lucas.
Well, who have you got? 5. You got Kate. You got a Kate rare there.
Oh, yep, good point.
Yeah.
I
And then you
have
go 5. You got a Star Platinum Epic and Kate rare. I feel like that's a
yeah.
reliable 4 that you've got in your. Aside from your legendary, you know you've got 4 cards that will probably post, that could go viral, that could score very high, and then you're just gonna say, well, has Star Platinum posted yet? Has he posted yet? You just have to keep your noties on for Star Platinum, and if you know he's posted, then you kind of think, okay, I'm gonna do relatively well in Platinum, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good deck.
Yeah, no, I actually love this deck. And previously, I think what I had here, I think I had Taiki as a 1 star, I think, and then I had 2 8s, so I did have like Mert and Adam Cochran here as well. And and then I had what's his Bold was the other option that I had. But I actually don't feel. I mean, obviously, maybe it's not quite as top notch on this one, but I don't think it lost a ton. Well, at the end of the day, probably have my best
Yeah,
chance to compete with this one.
for sure. No, I think those 2 decks are good. As in,
Uh,
I know both rely on Fapital and one on Taiki, but
all
I
of my
don't see
decks
how.
that do
Yeah,
this
I
month.
feel like
This week.
the 1 and 2 stars aren't like they all are gonna be risky in somewhat, like Hugo, KNV, Fapital, Taiki, QW. I feel like these are all heroes where we don't know what's gonna happen. Do you get what I mean? Like they don't give much away, especially on the weekends. So it's like you kind of just got to think, okay, one or 2 are gonna do well, right? Or maybe all of them post, right? Who knows? But I do think I'm probably gonna lean that way as well. Like when I'm doing my silver decks, and I'm glad you touched on silver because I was probably just thinking of the same thing. Like Taiki, I think Taiki at a 1 star, Fapital at 2. Now Jez at 4, because I think what's popular is the 6 stars are quite good this week, right? You've got Jeff Park, Thread Guy, Asflin, Clem, right? So I think if you go 666, 666 in silver, you're left with 5 stars, right?
That's
You
a
can either
bad
go,
number.
you can either go, you can either go with the remaining 5 stars. You can go 4-1 and put Taiki and Jez, right? Like, 4-star Jez or October, or you could go 2-3 with Weiwu and Fapital, right? Like I feel like that's gonna be 666 is one to play definitely next week. Or you go with, but I always think like the top decks are ones that have Adam Cochran in, right? Like or Alan, sorry, not Alan or Greg, right? So if you just put Alon in your deck. I just want to see what you could do with 8 stars here, or Lucas or Alon. And you get Clem in, so that's 8-6. So you're left with 9. I feel like now you have to put a 4 or a 5 in, right?
And
Yeah,
are we looking
4.
at? Do you mean a common or stick
A
with the rares?
rare, yeah.
Also, like, well, actually, Weiwu might be somebody I look at from the common rarity
Yes,
for this deck.
for sure. Oh, you got Tyler there as well. So if you put Tyler in, does that leave you with 3? So it's 2-1. Yeah, it leaves you back with a 2-1 combination, right? And I feel like I'm gonna do a few 1-2 combinations in terms of commons, but I feel like I'm also gonna do one where it's just QW on its own, or just Taiki on its own, just because there's a chance that both might not post. What I was thinking is sometimes the most
Hugo.
Yeah, sometimes the most optimal option is when the 3-star actually outperforms the 6-7 star. And ultimately, what that does is it opens up the ceiling for your deck, because let's just say if you get rid of QW and Tyler, and you went with Weibu as your rare, so you went Alon, Clem, Weibu as your rare, yeah, all of a sudden you can open it up to like another 5-star, or if you take QW out, maybe like 2 3s could probably come in here. Like, I feel like I always like doing one of these decks, because I feel like, okay, the 1 and 2 stars are never like set stone, right? But I always like maybe like a 2 and a 4 combination, like Jez, or if you have a
I
Jez
like
common,
the
I don't know.
Jez. And to be honest, one thing that I would probably do in this deck, if it were me, well, I guess it's my deck, but I'm letting you guide me here. I would put Weiwu as a common as opposed to utilize the rare there,
For sure,
and
yeah,
then utilize the Weiwu rare in one of my gold decks.
yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, because I don't play gold, I always think of how I do it, but yeah, I think that's definitely a great option. And the one thing to note is the reason why we had such a high ceiling last week in terms of scores, right, for winning, was because Alon was a 1-star, right? When your 1-star rare or 2-star rare or 3-star rares hit top 10, ultimately the bar is set higher. So if you played it safe, that's when you struggle against those decks, because they basically played a riskier card who's got top 10, and all of a sudden you have to compete with that. So I think Weibu Fapital at 2. I'm definitely going to be using rares and silver. Obviously, I play silver, right? But yeah, that's just something to know. But as for you, like I said, if you're playing gold, you want to make use of those cards, right? Especially given that the 2-3 stars.
Yeah, and I think the reality, I'll probably, maybe I'll do a quick holding place for this one. I think the reality is I won't use Fapital in this deck just because normally I would. I think the reality is I've just utilized him across the board, and so if he does blank, which is actually possible with him, then I've really just put all my eggs in one basket. So I'll probably just try to have some variation.
For sure, 100%.
But in any case, I'll finish up this one another time, and here, placeholder. All right, I'll let you take it over I would really love to see some of your silver decks for this week, HK.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna get the second screen on again. It turned off. 1 second.
Do you have yours hooked up with HDMI, or do you just have it like casting to the other screen?
It's HDMI on mine.
Okay. I recommend, if you can, switch to the D port or whatever. When I did that with mine, it was a huge game changer.
Can you guys see?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did these initially as soon as.
Brother?
Yeah. No worries. 1 second. I did these initially on. There we go. I did these at the start, like autocomplete. As you can see, like Jez and Kate combinations are literally everywhere because of the autocomplete. But I do have like a lot of Kate commons and Jez rare. So I think there will be a deck where I just don't do any 1 to 3 stars and literally strictly go 4 to 6 stars, right? So like how does that combination work? 6 5 5 4 3, something like that. Just as a safe option. I always play that one of them every week, just because in case them 1 2 stars never post, at least I've got like an insurance deck. And like most times than not, there's always a 1 or 2 star that hits, right? So it doesn't really, but I always like having that insurance option just in case, like I mean, I very much doubt a KNV, Fapital, and Hugo don't post in one tournament, but um, I do think I always try to play one of them. But this is just me doing autocomplete. But like this came up in my autocomplete. Like I think this was one of the first ones. But Alon, no, actually no, it wasn't because Alon's not really good on the stats. But the reason I put Alon there was I just feel like if he's active, when he returns, he gets like an insane sort of engagement because people have missed him. The trenches have missed him in a way, right?
Well,
and
and I think
gone.
I actually trust him a little bit more this week and a little bit moving forward because I feel like he's made a conscious effort with new product releases, talking about revamping stuff for
Yeah,
the year and trying to compete. Where I think it's obviously took a break towards the end of the year and stuff, and people wondered, oh, I wonder if it's not like sunsetting the actual platform or anything, but wondering if the hunger was still there and if they're still building something for the future. And it's clear whether or not that happened, like the intention is there and he's actually going to be pushing it. So um, I do
yeah,
trust that he'll be more consistent.
for sure. And I think I just with the ceiling, I think if you have two cards that are going to be top five, then it sets you up for a decent score, right? I also did this one where I don't know why Newsy is there to be honest. But if I take Newsy out and put someone like Nick in, right? Oh wow, yeah, the average goes a lot higher as expected. But that one was CRG, Nick, Jez as a rare, and then I think it was Kate and Taiki as commons.
Sounds like a great
But
deck.
yeah, yeah, I think with me is because I've got it's doing that weird thing where it's just frozen now. But there we go, it's nearly done. Yeah, that's the deck there. Sorry, it's Kate rare and a Jez common actually. So I
Even
think
better, in my opinion.
potentially, yeah, because I think Kate's a lot more active. So I feel like with these three rares, I know they'll be active and get top 30 potentially all three. And then whether I think Taiki probably has the highest ceiling of the 1 stars if he's active. And as for 2 star, obviously 2 star, there's a few that can do really well. But I think as for 1 stars, if there's one that's going to do well, I think that can potentially break the top 30, 40. I think it's Taiki, right? But as I told you guys off stream, like Taiki can be like a bit streaky with his posting, and he's not really he's generally not that bullish on CT. So maybe the
I
price action have
You
a
know
lot
what
to
I
do with it.
wonder? So I love this deck. One thing I wonder if I think Fapital has a higher ceiling, I think, than Taiki. I wonder if like doing like a 2 star with Fapital, and then if we do have like AZ Flynn as a 6 star instead of CRG, which I feel like have the
Right,
potential to
okay.
have similar outputs. I
Yeah, no, that's a good
Again,
point.
it's a risk, and it's one of those things like if you have options to do multiple decks, that could be two different twists as opposed
Yeah,
to
and full disclosure, there is a deck with Fabstil, Asphalin somewhere in between there as well, with Thread Guy, I think. So I have done one deck with that already, but
Your
honestly,
screen's
yeah, this
black again,
my
brother.
my screen's playing about. I don't know if you guys get it, but sometimes when I click enter cards, like someone went blank, and then you can't tell who you put in, and then when I take one card out, three of them go. Like it happened to me and Carp
yeah,
last
yeah,
week
yeah.
as well, but like
Yep.
it just
Same.
like cards get removed. But yeah, I'm just refreshing on my a bit grim. But no, I think based on what we discussed, anyways, I show you the one where I put Fapital in. Yeah, that one. Can you see? Like Thread, Jeff Park, Asphalin, Weibu,
Yeah.
Fapital. Now, I am tempted to do what you said, like maybe put Kate in one of these and potentially change Weibu to like a 4, or potentially go. Who's the 3 star we mentioned? Luca Nets as a 3 there, and change Jeff Park to like a 5 Kate, right? Like what I was talking about before is maybe doing a deck between 3 to 6 stars only and see how that does, right? Just in case the 1 or 2 stars don't post. But I think outside of that, like I said, it's going to be a whole load of Taikis, QWs, and I did tell you like I'm starting to like spam a lot more in silver rather than tactically do 10 decks or something like that, just because I feel like what's happened lately is like a lot of these heroes is randomly going off and you don't expect it. So I think what I'm going to do is like mix it up a bit in the with 20 decks, and
Yeah.
see pick different combinations, and And with ETH prices top heavy, you kind of just got hit sometimes. Like just have the right heroes in the right deck. Like Easy did well last week, and I didn't expect that to happen. So,
Yeah,
I think yeah.
On that note, on exactly that note, one thing when I was looking at the King of the Hill stats from the last few weeks, like last week, I think the winner was it 5 out of 8? I think it was 5 out of 8, which can be on the relatively higher side. And previous to that, it was 3 out of 8, and that was on the week that we felt like was the most predictable we've seen. People were going
Exactly.
hard in terms of entries, and actually, that's one thing Carp called in that. We thought that there were probably only a few variables and a certain number of heroes were almost locked in to be the top performers of their star level, and it turned out that the highest was three choices out of that whole thing, which really shows you
getting some frags out of that.
good, but it shows you that yeah, you have to have some of that variation sometimes, because at the end of the day, we love speculating, but something
100%.
like that, everything just turns upside down. And
yeah, as you mentioned, like I've actually put King of the Hill on the screen, and shout out to Fantadio, because I think he's won 3 in a row or something. Like I don't know if it's outright winning, but he's come in the top like quite consistently, and I think it's a lot of the time. Like for example, he won here. Now a lot of the times, like it's thinking out the box a bit, right? Like for example, at 7, I didn't think of Jack, but because there was other heroes that like probably have been in the top 10 more consistently. But I think you kind of have to think these options, who's most likely going to go viral or has the potential to go viral. And I think if you ask your question on each star range, that question, and try varying with each entry, then there's a potential to do really well, because for example, Fantaggio 7352 frags, right? That's a lot. Then if you go the week before, I think it was a bigger tie the week before. Like there was a lot of 1316, but he came in the top, right? And then the week before that one, another tie, so he came in the again, right? Like, but I think, and if
we
you
have to get his strategy. We need to get him on to talk about that.
He actually posted a good breakdown of how his strategy is yesterday, so I definitely would recommend checking that out. But for example, Merp, right? Like, I think that week there was like Mary, Dudas, but like if you actually asked yourself who has potential to actually go like score 800 plus, Merp has done that in the past, although he was a bit streaky for like a few months, right? I think it's asking your question like who, because I think with King of the Hill you can't be like, because you need to think like if three of the 8 hit, there's a potential for me to win, rather than thinking, oh, I need to get all these 8 right. And I think for example, when I haven't done any entries, I'm gonna probably buy a few, bridge some ETH over, but or burn a few cards I haven't burnt yet. But I think when I'm doing my entries, I'm definitely gonna be thinking more of the lines of out of these heroes. I think 8 obviously is an easier option, but as you get closer to like 2 and 1, like would I pick QW over Taiki? Probably not, just because if both on post, I think Taiki will probably score higher, right? But for example, like 3, it might seem Weiwu might be the best one to pick just because of her ceiling, and then I think I start thinking of that along those lines, rather than the stats said this hero's better, so I go with that one, right? I feel like you have to think of it as
the average. Yeah.
100%, 100%. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be doing a few entries on that. But I've got to say, I do have to like call it now just because of timing.
Yeah, no problem.
The little one is asleep, but
yeah, so we've been going about an hour and 15, so we're good.
Yeah,
great episode, guys.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be another crazy tournament. Let's see how it goes, right? And hopefully us 3 do well.
Yeah, likewise.
It's boomer bust is pretty much what I'm going for this week. So fingers crossed.
Heck yeah. Crab, and HK, either of you guys, I want to get both of you on a stream this week for it'll just be like 20-30 minutes for the Predict Daily, if you guys are down.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm happy to as well. Just give me a heads up.
Heck yeah, perfect. I'll DM both of you about it. Just wanted to get that before we wrapped, even though I could have done that in the green room afterwards. Nice. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry we were a bit late, but yeah, that's kind of par for the course for the last year. So you guys would think we were sick if everything went to plan. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Crab. Thank you, HK, best co-host in the world. I'll pass it to you guys as my kid goes crazy, and then we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Wait.